They're here and there, and there's no flow, there's no coherence. So we spend so much of our time trying to follow where they're going, and then we miss the content. Has anybody ever experienced that?
Oh, yeah.
Now, I experience that in my own head every day, so I get something to learn. But we don't do that here at Toastmasters, do we? No. Here we learn to organize our speech and to be very clear. That's the importance I hope to share here, is that it's important to be able to organize our speech so that people actually understand. They understand, they can pay attention, but also in such a way that it's interesting. Imagine if you quit talking and everybody just went on to what they're doing. No, if we quit talking and we're doing a presentation, people, they want to know more. They're left in suspense. So there are many facets of organizing a speech, of course. And Toastmasters talks about 3, which we hear over and over again in various different ways. And the way they talk about it in this presentation is rather cliched. It's tell them, and tell them. We've all heard that, right? Tell them what you're going to tell them, and then tell them what you told them. And this is otherwise known as the opening, the body, and the conclusion. So it's important to remember those things. Those are the 3 mainly I'm going to cover, and then I'm going to show an example of how this could work for us here for a simple speech. Now the first one, in the tell them, what you're going to tell them. This is a basic outline of what the speech is. And it's meant to grasp hold of us and not let go. Get our interest hooked so that we want to keep paying attention and not nodding off. We want more. In other words, our introduction or our opening must be compelling. I hope I've been compelling here. So if anybody's interested in organizing their speech, they are now compelled, probably. So hopefully I can capture your attention there and continue to hang on to it. The next one is tell them, or the body. And this, of course, is where we focus on the main central idea. In this case, organize your speech. So the whole body of my speech here, I'm going to try to focus on organizing your speech in some way. And the way we do this, here in Toastmasters, but hopefully that we will learn in life this way, is to add some points that will keep reinforcing that central point. A couple of subtopics backed up by reason, evidence, statistics, history, quotes, news reports, whatever we have that can strengthen what it is we're saying. Because not many people want to believe somebody like me. But if I say that Martin Luther King said it, well, now I have a dream, right? It means something. In the third point, the tell them what you told them, otherwise known as the conclusion, there's a summary of the points. Because we've all been there, right? Listen to a speech, even though it's valuable, start nodding off a little bit, and then finally it's like, why can't this guy get to the point? What is the essence of what he's saying? So summary is a chance to re-pump us with that information, the key points, and the importance of the speech to begin with. Because we're all saying a speech for a reason. You have an admiration of Martin Luther King Jr. And therefore, that's important to you. So you want to help us see the importance of that. Whatever it is we're saying, we want to make sure it's important. So we don't want to forget that in the conclusion. The conclusion is connecting back to the beginning and all the way through. Summary. Now here's a simple example of how that can work. Some of you remember, a few weeks ago I did an educational, I forget what the topic was now, but we talked about developing a speech and how to do it. And this relates to that. I'm going to use the example of a snowman. Is anybody insulted by the term snowman, or is it snow person better maybe? Well, okay, snowman, I think everybody's okay with snowman. Okay, if I was going to give a speech on how to make a snowman, okay, the central idea is snowman, right? The focus on that. And in developing that speech, you start with the body. a lot of times we think, okay, if it's got an opening, a body, and conclusion, I got to start with the opening. It's better to, when we're organizing ourselves, to start with the core idea and work outward. So if this was the idea of snowman, now there's different ways to do this. This can be done in a mind map form, or it can be done in a linear form. I'll show you both. This thing's dead now. Let me see if I got another one. Well, I'll just pantomime it, I guess. Don't chart marker. Aha. So this is a snowman. It's a central idea. Now, the idea, once again, is to build this out in terms of organization as to what are the key components of a snowman and how can we make it flow. Because this also helps us with doing speeches where we don't have to use notes anymore. If we have a flow to it, it's easier for us and it's easier for people to understand. So snowman, as you can see, is a fat guy, and then a smaller one like this. So we can flow like this because we know how to build it. So whatever we're describing, if we can find a flow in an organization of several points. So as you can see, there's 3 points right there. And so we can then say that this is, oops, uh-oh. Wrong one. If we were to say that this is, well, nothing's working now. I'll just do it by my hand. If this is the base, and this is the center of the snowman, and this is the head of the snowman, automatically we have an organization scheme in our mind, and that's the body of the speech. If you like to do it linear, you can just write snowman, and then base, center, head. And then we can take and we can go several points off what we thought about the base. It could be rolling the base. How do we do it? We start in the center, we roll it. It could be the type of snow that's best for it. And it could be the ideal location for the base. See, we can talk about those things. Easy to remember, 3 points, 3, 3, 3. And then the center, it could be how to lift up the roll. What are the best buttons for the chest? And how to round it off. Or what kind of arms to get for them. How many brooms. And the head, we can imagine the hat, the scarf, the corn cob pipe, the button nose, corn, whatever it is that we want on the top. We have it there, and we can do it. We can transpose that into linear if we want to by writing it out. But as you can see, once you have the body organized, then it's really simple to translate that into an opening. You have the body, and you have the conclusion. And the opening is simply the body with the importance attached to it. So for example, it could be, tonight, I'm going to tell you how excited I am about snowmen. Weren't we all excited about snowmen when we were young? Do you remember how nice it was to roll that bottom ball, to get that second ball up on top, and that head finally on top? These are the 3 points I want to cover tonight on the building of a snowman. And I go in and explain all about the snowman, how important that is. And then in the conclusion, can we just resort right back to it? Wasn't that great, those old memories of the snowman? Kind of sad to finally see him wilt. But nevertheless, we can never forget the importance of the construction, the base, the center, and the head. See, and we can just embellish it a little bit. That's all there is to it. If we remember our framework, structure, we can go off that. If we're not doing a structured speech, if it's just a storytelling or something like that, it can be different. But as a guideline for a basic speech, it's important to organize. But remember, these are just certain tips, Toastmasters, the core tips. That's all they are. In conclusion then, yes, we've all heard people who are all over the place, and we've been that. Probably still are at times. I know I am. But it's important to remember organization. If we can remember the 3 points about tell them what we're going to tell them, to tell them as best we can, and then never forget to tell them what we told them. If we can remember those key points, we will always at least be somewhat organized and hopefully gain and keep people's attention.